Big shout out to all the VIP. Welcome. This is London with the Crypto Kingdom and Bitcoin Spike. Really excited to have you back. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and the quote unquote crash. First of all, some really cool information. I want to go through this. Yesterday, I ended this stream. I said I wanted to make sure that you guys, and we all focus on TA, guys, heavy technical analysis. I said I want you to be ready for 0, 1, or 2. You guys will remember that. I want you to be ready for either of the 0, the 1, or the 2. In terms of the pricing dynamic, let's review that real quickly. Yesterday, the 0, the 1, or the 2, right? Very cleanly put forth to you. Are you prepared for each and every one of these levels? 0, 1, 2. We were in an ascending triangle. Let's look at what happened. Guys, very interesting. We hit the 0, we hit through the 1, and we hit through the 2. Very interesting in terms of the opportunity for us to engage in just kind of a dialogue to set up the technicals, etc., and to have the VIP #1 trade group. Just to let you guys know, that's just the truth. That's our top level of membership, and we're just really adamant about the fact that you guys are the best. That's just it. We have Josh on the bottom, $1,000,000 champ. We have Angel on the top, clearly, guys. Clearly, $1,000 super chat. King has been in and around Bitcoin, an investor in Bitcoin since $7.79. So we are very humbled and fortunate to have Angel at the top. We all look up to you. That is what I say, literally and figuratively as well. So what I would say is also we have to shout out to Freddie, our January champ. Our January champ earned the trophy. Absolutely, January trade champ. He powered through a line of resistance when it was called for. We said we would give a NFT in terms of the top trader award. Look at the gold shine on that emblem. Very nice, very nice. Congratulations, Freddie. I think I may need to NFT establish the background for that. So in terms of everybody here, welcome. Very excited to have been able to have introduced the idea in terms of the volatility. We've been discussing that quite a bit. Let's go to the daily. Let's just talk about what is the retracement thus far. Where are we at? Okay, we're at the 50% retracement. You guys know that. 50% retracement. The last, and let's just count through the days here, okay? Since the all-time high of 69,000, we are about 76 days formally into the retracement. How long did the previous retracement last? This one's 67 days. The previous one was 100 days. So we're still shy in terms of the overall time element involved, and I've been really heavy on that with the VIP recently. I've been saying, what does it take to shift momentum? Well, time is the factor. That's what we're looking at. So we're looking at another red day in the market. You guys can see this, a very red day. Incidentally, shout out to anyone who was watching yesterday and picked up on the Floki discussion. I have to say, guys, yesterday I was talking about Floki. Did you guys see what Floki did? I have to bring this up because I brought Floki to the community early on. Yesterday, I said, we would love to get a discount, 80%, 90%. I said add a 0 into it. Why? Because buying low, selling higher is just the idea. Can you give us a deeper discount? Did you guys see what happened to Floki? Someone had orders on Poloniex. I'm going to tell you this. On Poloniex, now I don't trade on Poloniex particularly, but look, we dropped down 60, 70% to pick up someone's orders. They were literally delivered. If you had orders waiting, because we discussed this, if you had orders waiting, you were delivered back up and above at a 200% profit if they picked up your orders. Congratulations. Now, that's an example of what can be had in terms of the strategy of something that's retracing. Floki is heavily retracing. Someone just picked up a 200% trade, right? For those of you who are ready, we discussed it. I'm excited if you were able to participate, in that. If you're on Poloniex, and I don't know the rules, we were discussing that in the back today. Not sure what the rules are on Poloniex. I think they had some SEC issues, so not sure how they resolved that with the SEC, etc. We're trying to stay out of that. If you guys in the VIP can go ahead and update me on that, I think Steve is on it, so I'm excited to hear what Steve is going to tell us for the benefit of the VIP, etc. So as we look at this lateral level, right, we're on this 50% retracement. The last 50% retracement was in this zone. We were there a long time, right? Okay, we liked the pattern formation that we got to. What did we get to? Let's review real quickly. On the weekly chart, let's go through the weekly chart. You guys will remember this. Nice falling wedge. We established a falling wedge on the weekly. That was nice, right? We were excited about that. We brought that to your attention at around that 30,000, in the back, 29,750. So excited to see that play out. The dynamic always on these larger time frames. You can pick up on some details that may not be readily available, okay, on the smaller time frames. So we always check out the weekly. We'll check out the monthly. We'll go on through the details, and we know exactly what happened with the market. Like people say, well, what happened? What formation are we in? What's really going on? Well, we've covered that too. You guys know New York Institute of Finance. What is it? It's Kondratiev. It's to the T Kondratiev. It's not even up for debate. bait. You guys know that. If you've seen the exact chart formations, etc., it's a pickup at the mid-level, a slightly higher high. That's it. Real simple. It's not complicated. It's not that we have to go even like look at we don't need to do a research project on this. It's very simple. We hit the Kondratiev wave, and that's just recognized by New York Stock Exchanges. I'll say their New York Institute of Finance, okay, founded in 1922. But it's just real clear that pick up at the mid-level, slightly higher high, and we're on retrace. So in terms of like getting creative or into an exotic pattern or something, we really don't need to do that. We just have a very clear Kondratiev wave, and we are in the midst of a retrace. Just keep it simple. Right? That is the easiest route and approach to take, I believe. So I'm glad that we were able to discuss Kondratiev ahead of time as well. I want to shout out to all the U.S. military. I see Jason's lit down on the bottom. I think he's heading out to Korea. We just got Richard back from Korea. What's going on? We're kind of a military-friendly crowd. I don't know, guys. We just are. We wound up that way. Maybe no one chose that. Huh? It just happened. But we have a lot in the audience in terms of members as well that are military, etc. So shout out to you if you're in the U.S. Armed Forces or overseas forces, joint forces, etc. We are kind of a friendly turf for you guys. Studied military intelligence, etc. And it's a cool place to have you guys hang your hat for a minute when you guys are out doing some cool stuff. So, and some dangerous stuff sometimes. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. Bitcoin off about 3.14%. Okay, so that 3.14 gets us to about 35,000. Just about that mid-level, okay, just about the mid-level of the $70,000 overall target, just slightly above that 50% retracement, which is indicated here by the 34,570. I was thinking today, I was like, what can a good theme be in terms of the market? Like, what could be a good theme for us to go over tonight? Just briefly, as I introduce people, we get kind of going with the evening. You know, we spend a lot of hours, late in the morning or early in the morning, etc., but it's late at night, early in the morning to really stay on top of the price action. We talked about the 0, 1, and the 2 that we discussed yesterday in the stream. Just 0, 1, and 2. Are you prepared for each and every one of these? And the market's very good at what? It hit 0, it hit 1, and it hit 2 in that specific order. Okay, so it's a good, really a great lesson if you guys have trained or you've been tested, etc., in terms of your ability to logistically plan, etc. Look at this, right? What on your job functions, civilian, military, whatever it may be. But we hit 0, hit 1, and hit 2, right? And the notion is like, how did you fare? I'm interested to see how did you guys deal with this sequence in here. We've been talking a lot about wave formation recently, absolutely, in terms of like a sine wave. In fact, I drew that out yesterday on the top and the bottom on the macro, and that's just essentially what we have run into here. Rather than playing a really strong bullish pattern sequence, which again we have, we can go on and on about that in terms of the fact that we have not been completing the bullish patterns to the upside. We just haven't. Okay, it's been part of the retracement, and that is the quintessential definition, essentially, of a retracement. Like we are going, we're retracing, we're giving back positive price territory. We're getting back into a lower scheduled price. That's just it. It's real simple. It's nothing. I don't have to be emotional about it. We don't have to forgive ourselves or the market or think twice about it being good or bad. It just is. It is the price action. It's something we can be non-emotional about and just experience and have it bring to us the benefits of retracement. We've been discussing that a lot in terms of what those benefits are. Well, the scheduled moves, I say this to everyone all the time, right? The scheduled moves, if for every dollar that Bitcoin decides to move up, the higher that it gets in price, that same dollar is less, has less meaning, okay? It has less meaning. Like a dollar, just technically, as you look at it, a dollar on $100, which is, as an example, a dollar on $100 is 1%. Right, $1 on $10 is going to be 10%. So we appreciate the fact that we have some lower prices to deal with because it makes each incremental dollar move more important. Now, I'm going to say that because Bitcoin likes to fly up $1,000, $2,000. Sometimes it'll like to fly up, $20,000. So that $20,000 is a lot more meaningful from $20,000 than it would be from, let's say that would be a double than it would be from $100,000. So That would be 20%. So that's 100% versus 20%. Okay, so as we would look at the benefits, when I talk about a benefit of retracement, just make sure that you're scheduled in and you're dialed into that framework. Also, a lot of people try and power into the market, and I've discussed that. And we, maybe we're as guilty as everybody powering into the market, slamming into heavy trades. We've, had a great success in 2021. Looking forward to more success. Luna is a great example of that. In addition, Bitcoin, great trades throughout Bitcoin and a lot of the other coins. Phantom, a lot of you guys have had great success with SHIB, with Doge, etc. in 2021. As we talk about powering into the market, one of the things I thought of tonight is a lot of times power in the market comes from a good degree of patience. Believe it or not, okay, as much as we want to power into the market, as much as we're ready to slam into the market with the full entirety of the account, or we're ready to take this to the next level. A lot of times power comes from a good degree of patience. Okay, when I talk about time being the key factor, it's not necessarily what we would want per se. It's not necessarily what we would well, I wrote the schedule for this month and it looks like this, right? If we wrote the schedule for this month and it just looks like this, it's kind of like, well, okay, why do we need to go through that? The first question would be, well, why do we need to go through this? It is a function of the market. It's a consolidation. It's a kind of a retapping of a different, you can get into the different elements of the market socially, etc. Elliott Wave gets into a lot of those different things. I won't get into the anything much past the market sentiment, the greed fear index, kind of positive negative sentiment, etc. But it's a rescheduling. It's kind of like letting something like settle for a while after a dramatic gain. Like it was necessary in terms of like market, however you want to explain the market. But from 9,600 up to 65,000, from 10,000 to 65,000, 6 times there is impressive. Okay, from that March 2020 of about 3,500. From 3,500 up to, let's just measure that out, guys. That's a big run as we would look at this. That's about 1,600%. That's pretty crucial. Okay, so we pay attention to this would be maybe on the map in terms of why would you put that on the schedule, right? Why would you put a consolidation like this on the schedule? Well, we need to kind of pause for a bit, right? We need to let the market regroup. We need to let people adjust to pricing. We need to let the framework, the parameters, a lot of the indicators kind of reset for a while. As you would look at like RSI or MACD, etc. A lot of those will, in fact, adjust over time. And you guys know that. It's easy to say that, but it just doesn't go without saying that they're not immediately reactive. For instance, on the RSI, you'll use that as an indicator frequently, but you'll see that it kind of it lags around. It's not immediately reactive, and within that framework, there's some other issues that from the shift in momentum, as we would definitely look at like the shift in momentum, right? These blue waves are essentially your price function, right? A little bit messy on the screen, but this is your price function, right? It takes time to get up. It takes time to unwind in terms of the pricing. Yeah, absolutely. From August to September, let's just appreciate that for a moment, right? In terms of the retracement here, you're looking at August, September, on into October. You're looking at, a good 1 to 2 months here in terms of just allowing that momentum. This is MACD momentum, right? So that's a crucial function. We would just look at the time, kind of the necessary function of price unwinding a bit, okay? So as we would talk about powering into the market, wanting to champion the market, wanting to beat the market, being alpha, right? Alpha is the percentage by which you beat the market. Just in terms of an update, we're regaining a little bit of territory, down about 2.9%. Okay, so not exactly the move we would want to see here, but I'd say in line with expectations. Unfortunately, we talked about a potential for a lateral push would be beneficial to the extent that we're getting that lateral push, okay, to the right. Okay, laterally means to the right. Okay, just that doesn't go without saying either. But as we would look at the frustrations along both the line of support, breaking through right onto that 0, from the 0 to the 1 to the 2, just really clearly demonstrated. I put these up yesterday and it just counted right through them, 0, 1, 2. Like, how were we prepared for those? I say that we're always buying, always selling. Could you have had orders at 0? Could you have carried through position, and could you have sold at 2? Right, or could you have released some at 2 and looked at a potential play, or released some at 1 and had a potential play at 2, right? So as you would look at that, I do say VIP are always buying and always selling. Could you have had orders waiting? Do you think that participants in the market had orders waiting at 0? Do you think that they released those at the point of 1 or 2? If you didn't, why? What was your framework in terms of your approach to the market? Why was it that you didn't want to participate at a lower price? What, irrespective of what coin you're looking at, why was it that you chose not to participate at a lower price? Why was it that you didn't maybe have a carry position as well? And why was it that you didn't want to sell at a higher price? And not that each and every move to the upside you're ready to sell, but I just, in the construct of the market recently, it's continually been presenting us this challenge and this framework that in the bullish, and we just remind each other every day, and it's not what we want. We're ready, like a big hit at the 50, we're ready for it to turn around. We absolutely are. We had a lot of bullish formations. I think of SHIB. Just look at this in terms of real quickly. I like SHIB because the technicals are very, very strong in terms of the technicals, and the coin is what it is, but in terms of the technical compliance, you'll see it's just the truth. In terms of the bull pennant, etc., from 2 bull pennants, it's had very strong technical conformance. Okay, so as we looked at this yesterday, I was excited about a bull flag. I was like, that's nicely indicated. You saw even on SHIB, just the expression just doesn't want to really comply. That was seen throughout the entirety of your altcoins. I'll say that. Let's look at ETH real quick. Let's just check in with ETH at 2,400. Exciting to have brought at 4,300. Okay, at 4,300 to have brought notification of final 5th wave having been completed. Okay, so ETH is a little bit less in a clearly bullish formation, a little bit more of a rounding, maybe a fan going on. Don't exactly see the same as we would look at this, just to check in with ETH because we don't do it frequently, maybe not frequently enough. So as we would look at this, yeah, let's look at, what I would see here is probably something like trying to accomplish somewhat of a fan formation. The next level that would need to be broken here would probably be something out in line with this. I'd like to see maybe a fan reversal would be nice to see on ETH. I'm not seeing any kind of it's just as we look at pattern diagnostics, right? I'm not seeing any type of an ascending triangle. Okay, it's not too far to think that maybe that is what's trying to go on between these 2 peaks. So maybe we could have a little bit of a bullish nature. We don't cover ETH all the time, but since we have called the top of it, we can get into some of the other details in and around here. If you don't trade Ethereum, hey, it's just another chart to look at. Let's look at another chart and see whether or not we can find anything in it that might help us with the overall broader market or your overall alts. It is kind of the primary alt coin. So yeah, we can tap into these 2 levels here and say that maybe Ethereum, if it can continue to pick up at these levels, could be in for a bit of a shot up, probably up into, just as I kind of look at this by hand, about 2,800 would be nice. If it could recapture up into, let's say that about a 15% move would be really nice to see from a key level of entry on Ethereum. And I'll scale back so that we have all of those parameters. There we go, that 4,352, where we found that 5th wave. All right, let's go back into, we covered DOT a little bit. DOT not really wanting to pick up as strongly as I think it could. Maybe just being patient in the market. Has a little bit, we had to get real detailed in terms of the pickup levels, okay, on these Fibonacci's. I really had to go advanced on that yesterday. If you didn't catch that, I recommend that you watch that from yesterday. Definitely really got detailed on DOT in terms of kind of an advanced technical approach of targeting. If you guys didn't watch that, please pay attention. I don't want to repeat it because I wanted to value the people that were there. Okay, I just do. It was, but it's a good lesson. And if you guys, if you don't, I don't know if you don't deal with advanced kind of technicals like that, it's probably one worth watching. I think it'll advance your understanding of the market as we would look at Luna. Luna back into its 50% retracement and a nice pickup from there, right? We had a good pour down and decent pickup. It was a little bit, it required you to play 1% or 2 aggressively to the upside. We're still up from the hit about 23%. Overall, about a 33% on spot, okay, just on spot that could have been generated from that pickup at around that 50% retracement, just real close. A little bit of a variability, okay, requiring you again to play a little bit aggressively. So we'll go back into, let's see, Bitcoin. Let's go back into Bitcoin. Feels good looking at Bitcoin and talking about Bitcoin. Very familiar turf for us. It is, right? The other ones can kind of, and they do, come and go, and sometimes they really go. I'll say that in terms of Luna. Shout out to Angel. Original price target was $4.06 last year. I think there's some bags sitting around someone's house, I don't know, at around, what, $5.50 or something like that, $5.80. Very good. Very impressive, huh? Very, like I say all the time, iron hands. Angel has iron hands. If you guys talk about diamond hands, this and that, I'm like, he's got iron hands. They're heavy, and they don't move. you can roll against him. If you guys haven't seen him trade, you can roll against him with just anything you want to in the market, and just watch him hold his position and watch it slingshot back in his favor. It's very interesting. Very very fortunate to be able to watch him trade and to be a part of some of those trades. I appreciate that, Angel. Very, very, very important for me. Thank you. And so let's talk about the time element, what I was talking about in terms of powering into the market, right? As we would talk about Angel and big moves for you guys at VIP. Freddie shows up at the bottom. He likes to power into the market. He's ready for that 5L, etc. A lot of the market right now, and at least right now, but I'll say an overall dynamic, is that patience. When you think of powering into the market, power kind of equals patience sometimes. You don't want to say that. I'm not just saying that now. I mean, you guys know that in terms of writing a script for this, in terms of this mid-level function here at the previous 50%, and I'm not preparing us necessarily for this duration of a move. I'm just not. But when we talk about powering into the market, a lot of times it goes with, for me to say, well, it's patience. What does that really mean? Okay, let's say, what is that? Just a tagline, or you just want us to all kind of relax? Everyone just needs to chill out in the VIP or the base camp. Well, let's go through it like this. What I would say. Let me see 1 second. Just let me remove this user, hide you from our channel. Sorry about that. In terms of the entirety of the dynamic that's being played out here. Sandbox, great project, love it. Snoop Dogg's in there. Wish we were neighbors, absolutely. I'd like lower prices is bottom line what I'd say in terms of picking up potential for retracements. So that'd be the easy answer on Sandbox, anything like that. And I did forget that. I have to say that. So I know a lot of you have invested in Sand. We brought up Sand before it went cruising to the moon. So yeah, I can talk about that in a second. But as we would talk about that, and Alejandro, we invite you to be a part of our VIP trade group. If you're interested in trading, if you're a top level trader, we'd like you to be a member of our trade team. That's just it. We have a team dynamic. We don't trade together, same accounts, everything like that, but we're just very much a team. Restricted zone in the back, and these are exclusive. So if you want to participate in the chat, let us know, and you can join. So you can do that from desktop computer. As we would talk about the time, talk about power, talk about how does power equal patience? What is that? And guys, I've worked with a lot of traders. I train traders. A lot of what I do is being around you guys, etc. I've been around a lot of dynamic traders in my life. Why would I say that patience equals power? Why is that? Well, you want a big move, right? You want a big move. You want a big trade. You want something to occur. So let's just dial back a little bit and say, how would this make sense in terms of the market? That, well, we need to be patient to have like a real powerful kind of trade, a powerful move in the market. That doesn't make sense. Like, I want to do it now. I'm ready right now. Well, what's happening while you're patient? You're formulating a pattern. And the more patient that you are, typically you're doing what? You're formulating a bigger pattern. And what do we expect with a bigger pattern? We expect a bigger move. Okay? So in terms of that, it's one thing just to say, yes, we need discipline. Yes, we need to wait. Yes, we need to be patient. Copy that. Of course we do. Of course we do. It's the market. We got to be patient. We got to, we can't rush the market. You got to let the pricing come to you. A lot of the times you got to let the pricing come to you. You want to move from a lower level, it's going to have to come to you. Can you hit it? Yeah, if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you're going to hit it. If not, you can say that, well, no, everyone wants the price to go up. We talked about that yesterday, quite a bit about that. Really liked the discussion that went on in terms of like the Grand Slam. If people want the price to go up, you got to look at the flip side of the coin here. With the price going down, etc., that's where you hit your Grand Slams. It just is. It's like an extra swing at the plate. We said this yesterday. It's like an extra. You walking up to the plate and say, "Hey, champ, you got an extra few strikes on there. Go ahead up and there's a swing. We want you to hit a Grand Slam." Really? Are you serious? Yeah, it's your night. It's your day. You go ahead and win a championship. We want you to hit that Grand Slam. You mean you're going to give me lower prices? Yeah, we're going to give you lower prices. Don't worry about it. So when you look at that, you can say, well, it's fearful. The whole market's falling apart. Everything else, I don't know what I'm doing. It's so stressful. No, champ, you're going to get an extra swing at the plate. You're going to get lower prices. What happens at lower prices? Well, when you move the same distance, I'll tell you this, when you move the same distance right here, we're going to measure this up again because I want to pound it into your heads. Look at this, 145%, the same amplitude right here, 145% changes into what? 145 becomes like 80, 85. We like the 145. I'm going to tell you the truth. I like the 145, right? In terms of the need to retrace too much, you still want to generate the interest. You still want to have that. We still want to have that essence of the market, right? We still want to, we want Bitcoin to be at a good price. We do. I'm going to say that as a matter of fact. Like we enjoy Bitcoin. It's kind of that ego getting in front of maybe the results because we'll take higher price Bitcoin, right? Yeah, I like higher price Bitcoin, right? It's part of that ego getting in front of the kind of the game plan, the strategy. Maybe we need to focus on what the real Grand Slam is. It's not that, hey, Bitcoin's sizzling, it's just stuck at 75, everybody's buzzing. Get on down here to a place where we can trade. That's what we do here. We're VIP, #1 trade group. Shout out again to Angel, brother. What's going on? Right, #1 Super Chat King in the house. Iron Hands, we're going to call him. We have Angel Air in the house. If he shows up, we're going to launch his new rocket here. We're going to launch that, and we'll make sure that he likes the name of that rocket. But we went ahead and went nuclear last night. And a passenger delivery vehicle. We went through the whole thing. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Angel has a rocket now on this channel. It's pretty cool. I'm excited for him on that. Very cool stuff. So we'll go over that at some point. It's an inspiration to everybody when he's around. We appreciate it. So, yeah, patience equals power. How? Patience. Well, when you're being patient, what's being scripted out? Typically, the more patient you are, you're getting into a bigger pattern, even on something like this. Well, I mean, come on with this. Now, London, what are you saying? Well, I mean, I'm patient this whole time. It's just going down. But what are you doing? You're being patient, and what happens? Well, you got this nice runway here from 2018, 19, and 20, and what happens? The thing goes ballistic. We just measured up from 3,500 bucks, say $4,000 from 4 G's up to 60 G's. Right, that's a big deal. Up to 70 G's, that's a big move. So when you talk about I'm ready to power in, well, you need to look at the patience element. What is being formulated? It's like, well, what pattern is this really? There's about 3 or 4 patterns I can walk you through here. I call this just a runway. We need to establish a runway for takeoff. Bam, to the upside. Okay. So as we would look at that, just understand the more that you're forced to wait, the more that you have to go through this process. It is the market. The ones who have been around in the market for a longer period of time understand the element of the benefit of needing to be patient. It's just the way the market is going to roll at us. We have the option. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to be a beneficiary of it if you want to up and skate out quickly. You can up and take off. It's not, that's the market offers you that every privilege or every opportunity to say, well, yeah, I need my money to be more, to operate more quickly than this. I just, this I'm expecting my money to operate more quickly. Okay, you can do that, and you're gonna miss out on the Grand Slams, right? I know that because we have them here. We have the Grand Slams here, and it came from a lot of patience. It came from a ton of patience in this time period, right? And patience, I'm saying tonight equals power, boom, to the upside. Why? Because while you're being patient, what is being created? Nice, huge patterns, right? The longer the time period, the bigger the pattern. I'm just going to say that, right? The longer the time period, the more the opportunity there is for a larger pattern to be built. Whether or not it's of this structure with some good volatility, whether or not it's a long road of a landing strip and boom, take off to the upside. So just keep that in mind. And what we're looking at right here, literally with this interval here, say 60, 70 days in the mid portion of 2021, what we're looking at is that provided some real nice volatility. What we're looking at previously is that this landing strip here, now there were a lot of trade opportunities in this landing strip, but in terms of just the consolidation here, well, that one was a much longer consolidation, but so was the tremendous liftoff. So we have I'd say we have a real good focus right now in terms of, okay, that seems to be the case. The longer the period of consolidation, the greater the opportunity there is in terms of the movement of price. Now, the greater the pattern, the larger the pattern, typically the bigger the movement in price. You can take it down from a triangulation and the expectation of completing a triangle or completing a wedge, completing a your basic patterns. Hold on one second. Let me get a sip of coffee. I'd appreciate that. Shout out to Richard. What's up, Richard? I see your picture here. I hope you're in the audience. All right, had to get some coffee. Good coffee. So, in terms of this dynamic, power, right? We want to power into the market. We're going to need patience. We have exhibited patience here. You say, well, this here is a nice, right? macro pattern. It sure is. It sure is. Without a doubt. What's the expectation of this pattern? The expectation of this pattern is to break out to the upside. We had one, two, three, I'd say three periods where we were in the process of breaking out or had broken out where we failed the breakout. So that is also something that we just tuck in terms of feather in the cap. We say that's fine. That's part of our patience routine. That's part of the amount of time that's going to be required to get back in and have a move, a powerful move. Okay. That's easy. Would have loved this to have just taken off immediately. It would have contravened Kondratiev, okay? Would have contravened like Wall Street Materials, the best we have for Wall Street Materials, etc. I choose Wall Street because they also trade Bitcoin, guys. They talk about it. They straight up, you know, if you it is what it is. You can resent the big guys, you can resent those dudes, you can learn what you can from them. When you meet some of the real good guys that are up there, you'll wanna be able to trade like them. So I'll tell you that much in terms of that. You will not want to be part of like a, I don't know, you won't want the chintzy kind of hype, influencer, who can't wrap his mind around real technicals in the market. You want to be like the guys who are handling the big bucks. I'll just tell you that. And know what they're doing, who can carry their salt. So what I would say about that is like Kondratiev wave, like it would have contravened for us to pick up out of that. But you know, there was the idea. I'll say this: there was the notion that we could have pulled another Kondratiev, and that would have been kind of against principle. But that we could have pulled a mid-level pickup with a slightly higher high, and we could have pulled another one. Okay, so we could have pulled another mid-level Kondratiev up. That would have been nice. It would have completed up the notion of an ascending wedge. Okay, it would have completed up the notion of an ascending wedge. I would have liked to have seen that. The pressure was just in terms of the regulation outside factors that were influencing the market. If you look either at the if you want to call it manipulation, regulation, interference, I think is a fair word. Interference is maybe a fair word. But to the extent that it's just been a free and open market, a Wild West, you could call it interference. But do you really have to, yeah. Kind of like, is that the right sheriff? We get up into that. Like, it's like we've been in the Wild West. It's like, hold on, is that the right sheriff? We've been out here for a while, huh? We look at him like, I don't know about that guy. He just shows up in the Wild West. He says he's the sheriff. I don't know about that guy. Maybe he is the right sheriff. I don't know. But those are some of the issues of like the trust factor. Like, some of this is working pretty good. The people that have been in the market like us, we know what the problems are. They're just showing up as like this sheriff show up. He think you know everything about the market. He doesn't know what's going on with the market. It's like we know what's going on in the market. Like, sheriff, you don't know what you're doing. And it's not. I say that with jest because I can only imagine back in the Wild West, the Dust Bowl, all this other stuff. Like, are you sure that's the right sheriff? Like, we don't even know if it's the right sheriff. A lot of issues. Decentralization has really shuffled the map, okay, in terms of internationally. Russia is off the handle right now in terms of their central bank saying, we're going to outlaw crypto, okay. And the same day we get a white paper from the Federal Reserve saying they're going to maybe do their own central digital bank currency. I'm like, I don't know. It's just interesting that just a coincidence, but I don't know. I just want to make sure that whoever's involved in crypto and the regulation, et cetera, that they have some experience. They have some people on their team who kind of knows that they don't just read an article. And, they'll read a Wall Street Journal article or a USA Today article or whatever it may be, and they'll take it as gold. And it's just, that is what it is. Like, do you really know the people involved? Like, we know a lot of the people here are really great people. It's like a lot of great people who have risked a lot to be a part of it. And I know there's some mainstream issues that are kind of taking hold in the market, so that to the extent that we can kind of play, I don't know, any kind of a benefit in that and be, and I'm just drawing out this ascending wedge here, but to the extent that we can be a benefit to anyone who's trying to make this a better space, we would love that. That's really that would be great for us to be able to do that. So we do that through who we are to each other and who we are to the community overall. That doesn't mean we have to like the whole community, right? That's just we want to beat the whole community. So irrespective of that, we will never lose our competitive edge, and anything that kind of dampens that the existence of that, we're not fans of it. We want to still compete. We always want to compete, and we want to win in that competition. So let's go back to the 30-minute. A little bit of positive price action. Where are we at right now? Down 2.83. The 0, 1, and 2, I think, was just a great reminder of, we're always buying, we're always selling. Right, in terms of the VIP, as I brought that up yesterday, if you watched this last night, it was just the last thing I did. I said, I want you guys to draw it and be prepared for equally 0, 1, and 2. All right, we talked about wave formation at the very beginning, the cyclical wave formation, excuse me. And we talked about that before we got off the stream. And I've been trying to leave you guys with kind of some, I don't know, I don't want to move that, I haven't moved this. It's a little bit of, kind of just some gems or seeds of knowledge you guys can work with, or trade details you can go after and kind of test yourself and see what it is. We definitely did that on this level of resistance along this falling wedge. We set that up. I stopped and said, everybody go draw this right here. Wham! And what we woke up and boom, we were right at it, right? So this was another instance where I was like, okay, you guys be prepared for 0, 1, or 2, right? Equally. This is on the 30-minute time frame. And boom, we actually hit the 0, the 1, and the 2 in order. So I'm happy to be able to do those types of things to the extent that they're highly instructive, or it's like a good test. And I had brought up yesterday, didn't I? I brought up this is interesting, I brought up the consulting factor, didn't I? Those heavy consulting exams you go through. It's very interesting, huh? Because there's a dynamic and a mindset that can wrap their mind around a consulting interview. When you're asked the same question 200 times and you get one word that's different, right? London, tell me about a question, or tell me about an instance in your life, and just listen for a moment. Tell me about a situation in your life that was challenging for you, and tell me what you learned and how you would apply it here at the firm, right? Tell me about a situation that was enlightening for you. Tell me what you learned and how you would apply it at the firm. Tell me a situation that was embarrassing for you. Tell me what you learned and how you apply it at the firm. Literally 2-3 straight hours of 200 plus questions, all with one variable to them, one variable word. And you get on into there, and you're in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and an hour into it, and you're just smiling. You're just continuing to answer the questions. And it's you get grilled, like literally with one word being different. Kind of an advanced, almost interrogation, a little bit, but more of, just testing your poise, just testing your demeanor, just testing. It's not as much what you say on a situation like that. It's a lot of what you communicate that's beyond the words. It's how you fill the room. It's your presence, how you continue to operate. So as we would look at this, not in the form of testing, but as we got through to that level of resistance across the top, I just bring that up as a personal example, okay, in terms of previous experience with kind of high-level interviews, some deep dig-in, serious kind of stuff where they really want to test you. If I were dealing with the partners of a consulting group directly, they wanted to know that I could sit there for 4 hours and literally maintain and compose myself. I literally was preparing reports, financial reports, for the direct top-level partners of the largest consulting firm in the world. So literally my interview was literally hours, and they changed one word the entirety of the time on every single question, just to test my temperament, just to make sure that I could be around, deliver work to the number one, like literally the number one consulting firm's top level partners. So it's nice. I bring that up because in terms of the approach, and I'm not doing that. I want you to know I'm not doing that, but I brought that up yesterday. Why? Just because we were talking, right? We talk a lot, and we were chit-chatting back and forth with a bunch of military stuff. Angel was, we were having fun about just whatever we were having fun about, but talking about just kind of the rigor, psychological rigor that we go through. This is a nice testing function. It was really easy. We can say that. It wasn't one of these like real rigorous events. The psychology of the market, though, makes it very difficult in terms of the because we have had discussed that. I'll go ahead and bring that into context, something like that. The psychology of the market we're always dealing with. And the expectation would be here, it's like the challenge to you all would be what? Well, you told us to be ready for 0, 1, and 2. That's right. What is the context? Well, 0 is below the line. 1 is a continuation here through, okay? And 2 is above the line. That's right. And what kind of market are we in? And I feel like, just like the consulting interview, continually we're going back to this, right? And what kind of market are we in? Right? It's the same question over and over again. It is the 2 hours instead of the 2 hours, and it's a very good example here, guys. Instead of the 2 hours, and I just bring you up a little bit of my past life, right? In terms of my past life, not Hindu, just my my previous like work experience, etc. At high levels. As you look at this, it's like, what's the same question that would get repeated? And I'm not testing at all, but we have to put this in context. Well, it's 76 days, or if it's back to the real moment of frustration here, right at the top of the wave. Beginning at the top of the wave here, it's about 100 days, right? So what's the continual, and I could almost go back to every time. It's like that same question I got asked 200 or 300 times, over a course of hours. It's like, okay, well, and so what type of a market are we in? Well, that changes the way we look at 0, 1, and 2. And yes, we were ready this time. Yes, we wanted it to go, and it still may go, right? But as we would look at that, that is our fallback. That is our return to our return, I'd say, principle right now in terms of the overall need. Each and every time you get a pattern, each and every time, and we do say this like after the event occurs. Most of you don't want to hear, look, be careful when you break out on the top of this because you're not, it has failed. And, we bring up caution, definitely each and every time, but not overly such. The notion that, well, you broke through a level of support. Okay, it's been doing that. It's been pushing. It's been grinding against the buyers and the holders. It's very uncomfortable if you're in that position, or unless you're picking up at a lower level, right, almost right back at exactly at our pricing target, the 34,570. So if you had orders waiting there, boom, no problem. It came down to pick those up, right? If you were carrying position in around this one level, that's nice. That's nice. If you were carrying position, and if you just decided, in line with kind of a wave formation, I'm going to go ahead and sell. We talked about the lateral push over into this direction. That's why these lines are out here. So was your expectation to go ahead in this area and let's get up here? Yeah, we drew these over here because this blue area was the ideal for us. That was the ideal push zone. You guys will remember that. We haven't covered that yet. Thus far yet, but this was kind of the ideal area to get up into this area. So how did you kind of cope with this? How did you fare with the market, with the pricing action? It's never a test, but the market tests us all the time. If we can set it up in a manner that's very interesting and that's at a very high professional caliber, and something that I would say, that we could have just done that for all the top level Credit Suisse investment bankers. We could have just done this play out exactly with the market and the context, etc., just to see, who's on top. Right? Just see who in the group, who's number one, who's on top, who's paying attention, who's buying and selling, who knows that we had the blue zone in here, the ideal condition to get on up and out. That would be how I would be excited to gauge performance on a top level group like that. You all are a top level group. Okay, I'd like to say better than that, but that would be the type of exercise that I would run directly for them. And I've been a mentor in intelligence school. I performed very well in some other schools, et cetera, like top of the class and some various stuff. And it's nice for me to be able to bring some of the stuff that's not like necessarily a challenge. You have your own answers, by the way. So if this rub you the wrong way and it catches you a little off guard, if it catches you off guard and you don't like it, you probably have your own way of doing things and you wouldn't change it anyway. Right? That's part of what makes you guys, you guys. That's the truth. So you're going to tell us what to do. You're going to challenge us. That's part of the the game. That's part of us playing boxing. I'd say boxing match with I think of Vlad. He's big in a ring. He likes to go in a ring. But that's part of the mental, the sharpness that we can refine. That's part of why we're respected as well. Believe that. If we are running a 1-0-1-2, at least bring it up in the context of who waited for the blue. Right? Who's still up and out here? Right? Who's cognizant of the fact that we've had many of these that have not performed? Who's at the front of the market? Which one of you, okay, is going to be able to pound out and say, yeah, absolutely, right? That's me here, boom, me here, okay, with maybe a carry level, me here, return to. You may have let some go here, and I let the rest go here. Right? Or I started to short here. However you handled that, that's you. And I'm not here to change you, but I am here to, as the market challenges you, I'm here to maybe bring up some issues that may make reframing the future challenges that the market gives you, maybe enhance that process. Okay, of you challenging. I say you dealing with the continual challenge of the market. And an exercise like this, I think definitely it's not intended to be an exercise, but it just was a video, right? It's just, why don't we do this? Be prepared for this, right? So as we would look at that, it's just as you develop your game, as you understand the intricacies of a competitive market and your own behavior, okay, as a function and a part and parcel of that market, you're going to become better if you appreciate something like this in the context, and I'll say the 0, 1, and the 2 in the context of all of this, right? And if you just don't want the next right answer in terms of is it going up, that's not the right answer, guys. I mean, you can get there. You can get there. Is it going up? I mean, I tuned in because I need to know if it's going up. I have other stuff to do. Okay, you want to know if it's going up. That's always the wrong question. 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, right, as we would talk about that. 0, 1, 2. Okay, we had talked about the blue zone being the key area to go. Who performed in this area? Because all I'll say is, well, if it takes too long, right? If it takes too long, there's really right. The problem would be in a deep consolidation level, right? Like this. Excuse me. Like this, a deep consolidation level. The inclination is, well, this is wasting my time. This is not what I'm here for. Well, you could have booked a trade here. I'm sure some of you did, right? I'm sure some of you did. You could have booked a trade in here. It wasn't accommodating necessarily in the immediate, right? Either with the pickup, arguably everything contraindicated with the fallout of the technical line of support to a target. So yeah, to a target. Yeah, we got that. But accommodating, maybe not. But was it conformant with the market thus far? Or did it conform to your market expectations as you look at it now? Would anyone here say, no, it didn't conform to the market expectations? Right? We expect to see a huge, huge move to the upside and a full completion of an ascending triangle in the market right now. No, none of you would say that. Not one of you. So as we, kind of banter around and just talk about, the different approaches here, just embrace these moments, these challenges like this. If it didn't go exactly your way, cool. What's next? Right? Then that's exactly it. It didn't quite go your way. Okay, great. What's the solution to that? Next. All right, where's the next trade? What's the next pattern to develop? What's the next indicator you're on? What's the next, green light you see flashing from the chop? Boom. A little bit over the chop on the 5-minute, right? Is that important to you? You want to scale out of the 5-minute chop? We just went green on the 5-minute. We're coming into contact with what? With the 100 and the 200. Okay? What's the framework of the 5-minute versus the 30-minute? Boom. Right? Getting back on into the framework here. About to turn potentially green on the 30-minute. What is the relative meaning of that or the relative importance of that? How high have we gone? If we were to measure out the preceding zones here, what have those hits been like, on the 30-minute, say, versus the hourly? How deeply are we into the chop on the hourly? How far are we underneath those EMAs? Do I need to turn on my EMAs? Maybe so, right? Let's do just Crypt, K-R-Y-P-T, like Crypto Kingdom, right? Bands or ribbon, okay? Crypt ribbon, boom, there we go. K-R-Y-P-T, like Crypto Kingdom. Crypto with a K. So as we look at that, how deeply seated are we into these? We need to turn green. How far are we away from a real move? Constantly assessing a real move to the upside, any kind of a real reversal. In addition to this upside, let's say the ascending triangle, is there anything else in play here that we need to measure? Right? So on the hourly, looks like we're digging into those bands relatively well. How solid have they been? Right? Have we gotten any real good moves? Again, we reverse and we see, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one real good incident pricing incident above that EMA. One other one here, but have we really held that as an indicator if we do pop up and above this for as short or a long? Right, as we challenge this specific EMA, this set of EMA bands. So all types of questioning, constantly digging into the framework of the analytics, never backing down, never taking a breather, never feeling sorry for me kind of if you go the sorry for me route, you're going to be the only one that does it. That's the one thing about the market, right? So it really doesn't, it's really kind of a selfish use of your time. I'll say that, right? Because you're the only one that's going to use it, and it's just like, why don't you contribute? And you guys can, and you do, and I appreciate that, right? A lot of people will make like miserable videos and everything else about we lost all this, and we lost. Yeah, in terms of the market, well, come on. Why don't we bring the heat? Why don't we up the game in terms of TA? Why don't we step up the momentum, our own momentum? And that's one thing that we can talk about. That's a good thing, right? I talk about patience, and I like the flow of this conversation because I talk about patience kind of equaling power in the market, right? Why? Because we're building bigger patterns. Typically, when we're taking more time, we're building bigger patterns. This wants to fall out, it'll be a different pattern. I'll just say that until we really confirm whether or not we're up back into this pattern, I'm going to hold this just like this is. But as we talk about patience, equaling power, why? Because during that time, we're building bigger patterns with a bigger expected move. So patience, yes, equals power to the extent that you're looking for a big trade, right? Also, some of these have been big spillouts. If you've been on shorts on these bigger spillouts, it's been nice, right? So you've had, relatively big trades here on the downside. If you're not into shorts, I understand it. It can be difficult. They can stretch you with your and I talked about that multiplication into those. Not that you necessarily have to hit, let's say 40%, right, of all your shorts, but the notion that you need to cover the previous losses on that, and it turns it into a pretty much a big boy game. I'm just going to tell you that in terms of that, either real light or it turns into kind of a big boy game. I'll just say that in terms of your willingness to, or your wanting to enter into shorts, etc. So always play lightly enough to stay in the game and enjoy it. I'll say those two things while we're letting the larger patterns come into the framework. So. Yeah, as I would talk about patience equaling power, the thing I liked about the conversation, where it was going, was the following, okay? That yes, we're looking to be patient as these do approach, as these patterns do form, as we get into a larger pattern formation that has a larger expectation in terms of a move to the upside. But that does not mean, the fact that we're going to be patient does not mean that we back down. It does not mean that that's going to be the equivalent sentiment that we have. We're just going to sit back, relax, and be patient and no problem. Absolutely not. That does not affect our level of engagement with the technicals. It does not affect, and that's a big difference, okay? So that's why I like the conversation to the extent that that reflects who we are as a group. Absolutely. That we're challenging in this framework, right? That we're challenging in this ascending triangle, etc. That we're pulling up the detail, and at least look at it like that while we're being patient, while we're digging into the technicals, while we're trying to framework and better our trade game each and every day, guys, from 0-1-2 going into slam 0-1-2. The patience does not mean that we're just put on pause and we relax. Absolutely not, guys. So that's what I like about this conversation in coupling with the notion that we are, that we're in a situation for being patient, right? There's nothing to do with that affects our tenacity of the market. Zero. Right, zero. If anything, it becomes a little bit even more challenging. You might even say that. It's like, well, come on, London. Just to even bring this kind of stuff up as a kind of a test, if you guys have one for the group, I'd love to know it. Absolutely 100%. If you guys have anything that's like a challenge for the group, or anything that like you would like maybe recommend that we go through this or go through that, and maybe as a group a different dynamic could be achieved, or maybe it would hone the skills of the group, you absolutely know that 100% I would, and the rest of the group would be like, absolutely, that's what we want. We want to sharpen our skills. We don't want to become dull during these time, during the doldrums, during the time, during the time. That's it, just during the time. We don't even have to qualify it. It's like a good or a bad. I mean, as exciting as it is that we're achieving a price where another move is going to be more meaningful. Essentially, I can script it either way. There's two sides of this coin every single time. We need the lower prices to get a larger percentage move. Right? It's just we do. We didn't think we needed it here until we blasted off 80%, right? And it's just, the repeat function of this move to the upside was not going to be 80% from here. It just wasn't, right? And there's a functional limitation in terms of market cap, etc. Like we can only take all the money and put it into Bitcoin from all the banks once, right? Maybe they'll start doing it a second time, and they'll probably get creative. But at some point there is kind of a functional limitation in terms of how much threshold the market cap of Bitcoin, etc. has. So just wanted to challenge you guys, and I know you guys can take it, right? You're the guys that like to fly around the world and have fun, get in sports cars, get in tanks and choppers, and do stuff. You like to be challenged. So while we're slowed down in this zone a little bit, with still some volatility, some great pickups, etc. The red means, yeah, let's go, huh? Yeah, absolutely. Floke is still, I don't know. If you guys didn't check Floki out, down 70%, up to 100% on Poloniex. Interesting. Well, we talked about wanting to get it down low, so congrats to all you guys who did. So that's really just a quick, easy, like slam dunk, 1, 2, 3, bam. If I wanted to hit into a stream tonight, just to give you guys a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, the market's already going to challenge you, but just understand too, we're in kind of a framework where we're trying to hit back and forth into it relatively consistently. With like, and it's not a test. There's no test about it, right? That's not the point, but it's keeping you guys sharp, right? And it's keeping you guys focused. We've already part of the benefit is we just went through this retracement here. We just went through this live. Like we helped develop the group, etc. We had some real big success out of this area, didn't we? We just did, right? From Luna to I mean, half, if not all, the coins that you see flying up through the roof, we've been involved in them, right? We just, as a group or individually, we just have. So we've been through this zone. It's treated us very well overall. So I look forward to this specific zone and how we play these out, along with a little bit of fun, right? Along with a little bit of a challenge in terms of like the 0, 1, 2. Again, if you have any I'd say suggestions or anything like that you want to come with me and say, hey, London, check this out. I think it'd be cool if we did this or we did that. Why don't we, why don't we try and step up the game? Why don't we do this? If you have any recommendations, I'm more than happy to hear them on DM, direct message. You guys go ahead and do that. So I wanted to stream a little bit earlier today, just because it is the weekend, right? And I wanted to make sure that you guys got into a good week, okay? And that's just important for me as we look at you guys having a little bit earlier opportunity to maybe dig into the technicals, us to cover what we went through last night, to update you and to kind of let you know that we've been doing that a little bit, just a little bit. Iron sharpens iron. How about that? And you guys, that's good between kind of teammates, between VIP. I'll just say that. So I will let you guys go early and just kind of relax. I'll be on the phone for a little bit, and maybe Angel hit me up if you are around. And you guys in the back, I'll be with you there. I'm still looking to push laterally into potentially this zone out in here. I think it would be a little bit more accommodating for us to pick back up into this falling wedge. We've seen the return to function quite a few times. I will repeat this. We've seen the return to function at least 2 times live in the last week and a half, returning to that wedge. We have a complication here with this fall down December 3rd. Copy that. And we've seen the return to function from this level, also from this level. We've seen it. So we will stay tuned. Do you have your orders waiting at lower levels? Do you? Do you have orders waiting at lower levels? Not only on Bitcoin and all your coins. I just ask you that every single time. We're always buying, we're always selling, right? So, guys, I'll talk to you soon. This is London. Hope you had a great weekend so far. Appreciate you being with us as a part of it. And what I always say, eat well, sleep well. Crypto is 24/7. And, make sure you invest. Continue to invest in those relationships that you knew were worth investing in before you started investing. So, guys, it's so great to talk to you. I'll be in the back, and shout out to me if you need anything at all. This is London with Crypto Kingdom and Bitcoin